do not have like a Pokemon MMO yet.
They're doing that mobile game though, which is like a worldwide Pokemon MMO that you need to use your phone for, and I am hyped for that.
Ooh, that
I
should
think
be
it's called
fun.
Pokemon Go. If you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. But anyways,
The
we
draft
are
is starting.
we are in a
Heroes of the
draft.
Storm.
There are no Pokemon in Heroes of the Storm yet,
Not yet.
so we will address the draft. A Zool ban from Clock Dad. Probably, I actually think Zool's pretty good on this map because
That's a solid ban.
you can do a solo lane. He can be part of like a 4-1 rotation, as we saw in the last game that we cast. So I think it's probably a good ban. And Purple Turkey is like I wouldn't be surprised to see Li Ming taken out potentially. Well, they're gonna ban Illidan.
Okay. Illidan, he kind of got some nerfs today, a little bit, because he was doing too much damage and healing too much, just a little too hard to kill.
Yeah.
So
He also got some other talents buff though. Like I
yeah,
mean, it's
his
probably an
sweeping
overall.
strike stuff.
Yeah, it's probably an overall nerf. But he actually gets better wave clear now, right? From
Yeah.
what is it? What is it? Oh,
So
Unbound.
yeah,
Yeah.
Unbound. So and this is cool. So Clock Dad went ahead and first pick Falstad, but
Ooh.
this is the first day that Falstad's Gust is now a 60-second cooldown versus a 40-second cooldown.
Yep. And I wonder how much that's going to come into play. Obviously, the global presence is still good,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
false side.
Especially
So
on this small a map when he can basically fly from one shrine to another.
yeah, of course. And Tyrande, first pick for Purple Turkeys. Um, Tyrande
Purple
is
chick
kind
for
of.
purple turkeys.
I was about to say Tyrande is kind of purple herself, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
And then we have the wizard wearing purple.
it's one of those. It's just gonna be one of those nights, Josh.
I'm fine.
Oh,
I love those kinds of
I love
nights.
it.
Those are the best.
Yeah, good picks though. I really like seeing Charonda a lot, especially on this map. It makes you think purple turkeys are looking for a roaming gank of some sort because Charonda is definitely one of the best roaming ganks you can have. It would be cool to see a Diablo pickup for a tank just because those two go so well together. But Clock Dad's going to go ahead and grab Zagara and Muradin. So grab their tank, grab Zagara, amazing laner, great vision if she can really get that creep spread going, and Maw or Nidus. We saw some Nidus at dorms over the
yeah.
weekend, so very completely viable in the right situation.
Yeah, no, I think Nidus is possible, but I still probably on this map I think we'll see Maw. I mean Nidus is good if the enemy team doesn't bother to clear it out, but like I don't know. I feel like it's sort of a risk on this map, and the Maw would be really good against what looks like a pretty squishy team so far for Purple Turkeys.
Yeah. Um, so they went ahead and banned Rhaegar. Do you think they don't want to play against Rhaegar? Do you think Tirana is going to be the solo support, or
Yeah,
do you think we'll see a hybrid?
I think we'll probably see her solo. Because I don't think you really want to draft into something like an Uther, because your damage, you lose a lot of damage.
Yeah,
It kind of depends what they decide to do with the rest of the
sure.
picks. You could always go Tassadar, which, given that there's a Zagara, will help clear that creep.
Oh,
So
for sure with the vision.
maybe not a bad pick, but I don't know. Sometimes I've heard pros and commentators say this before, that it feels like sometimes when you take Tyrande Tassadar, you get like the worst of both worlds sometimes. You don't get the damage and you don't get the
Yeah.
healing that you want.
And
So
so this is interesting. Clock Dad actually banned Thrall. So they banned both Zool and Thrall, basically the only other two really good laners that could compete against Zagara. So that's solid banning on their part. And just like you said, Johanna Tassadar pickup. So we are going to see both the hybridy type supports coming into this game.
okay, so now like if you're Clock Dad, you got to think like you probably are going Uther for your support, although you could go Karazim. Karazim is actually a pretty good option here, I think.
Yeah.
But you're looking at that team and you're like, what are they going to finish it with? They have burst damage, so they probably are going to pick something like a Vala. But meanwhile, Clock Dad does not really have burst damage. I guess Falstad kind of fills that niche, but not really.
I would like to see maybe a Kael'thas or a Jaina out of Clock Dad.
It's the only thing is like the triple ranged. I don't know how I feel about it here. It's kind of scary to have a Johanna charge into your backline, but okay, they're gonna go triple range. You take the Jaina.
Yeah. And I like Jaina on this because there's not a lot they can on purple turkeys. They can jump in and just threaten her, like right off the bat.
Yeah, not yet at least.
Well,
I
not
mean, they
yet.
still have
I
a
mean,
pick left.
purple turkeys could go. I would like to see a Greymane, honestly, off of purple turkeys. After seeing this pick, Greymane would be very good. Johanna goes in, pulls them in, gets them initially stunned. You could see a lunar flare from Tyrande come in, and then Greymane goes in to finish him off. And then just like you called, we're gonna get the Uther.
Yeah, I guess a lot of teams don't like to play Karazim. Like if you're a support player and you don't play Karazim a lot, you probably would pick Uther. He's a little bit more well-rounded than Karazim and a little bit lower risk.
Sure.
So I think it makes sense, but I don't know. Like this is triple range, so oh, there it is. You
I got
called
it.
right on.
I got my wish.
Greymane, I like it. I do like it a lot.
Yes.
Because of the way that this composition is going to work with like the two half supports, basically. They get the choice with Greymane, right? We're poking, we're going in.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. This is a cool composition. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I really like it. And I really like that was what they grabbed at the end after they saw that Jaina pick. Because Greymane versus Zagara, Greymane versus Jaina. I mean, Falstad's going to be a little harder to lock down because of that barrel roll of his, but both Jaina and Zagara have no escapes from that. So if you get his go for the throat ultimate, he could be jumping 1-2 and getting 2 easy kills right there with just a little bit of Li Ming or Tyrande poke.
A couple other things I guess we should mention from the patch. Divine Storm for Uther has been buffed. I don't, with triple ranged and not against a super heavy melee comp, I don't expect we'll see it here.
No,
but it is
Divine Shield just provides so much utility still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly.
And Muradin Haymaker has been buffed to do full damage to people who are hit by the ally. Instead of 25% or 20%, I forget what it was. So that, I mean, we've seen pros pick Haymaker.
Yeah.
But I have not watched a pro game in a while where it actually worked properly.
That's the thing about Haymaker though, right? It's so hard to pull off correctly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so hard to get that to work right. I mean, when you do, it feels really good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those moments where it works are just few and far between.
I mean, when you hit the right Haymaker, you feel like a playmaker, you know? So
yeah.
But like when you just Haymaker someone away from your backline, that's the other thing. Like I actually think that we could see Haymaker maybe to deal with, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a hard task for this Muradin to keep these 3 range protected.
Yeah, so. He's going to have his work cut out for him. No question. That is going to be rough because there's just so much backline to protect. It's not like half backline, half frontline. It's all backline.
Yeah, and I also wonder, like, because the enemy team can choose to sit back and poke, how much mileage Uther can really get in some situations with his stun.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I really like this comp from Purple Turkeys, at least in theory. So I guess we'll see if the Greymane, like, this is kind of like a Li Ming pokes down, then Greymane chooses when to go ham.
Exactly. And Tyrande can set up that poke for Li Ming as well, or Johanna can. I mean, they both can, and then Tassadar, which I assume Tassadar will probably go wall. Other than Falstad
and
Muradin's jump, Jaina can't get away from that. Zagara can't get away from that. They have to walk around. So they have a lot of potential lockdown for these heroes on Clockdad that have no escapes whatsoever.
And here's one more heroic I haven't mentioned yet that was buffed substantially in today's patch. Falling Sword.
Yes, a lot more damage, if I recall.
Yeah, it's almost 50% more damage. Really, like
That's
it's not
pretty
quite
big.
50%, but it's it's close. And
I could
that
see it getting picked now, though, because it does provide a small stun, even though it's it might, in theory, be over a smaller area. But Blessed Shield does not do much damage.
that's the thing. You have to differentiate heroics, right? Like right now, Falling Sword is just kind of a worse Blessed Shield, but after today's patch, now it's her damage option in
Yeah.
addition to still having a little bit of CC.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so over on the side of Clock Dad, we have Magix on Jaina. China. China.
China. Sorry.
Ryoshi on Zagara.
Battle commencing.
Snaggin on Muradin. Man, I am failing tonight, Josh.
I'll-
Raichu on Uther.
Just call him Snag.
Snag. That's
On
good.
the side of Purple Turkeys, we have Puckin Fist on Tyrande, Derp Face playing Li Ming, the Saproling on Greymane, Scrog, all capitals, on Johanna, and Amethyst Sky on Tassadar. I love that Derp Face is playing Li Ming because I remember when the art for her came out,
Yeah,
people-
she had a derp face.
people were like, she has a Derp Face.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
well done.
So we've got everybody right now in the middle except for Zagara, who's just happy laning by herself.
Yeah, and it looks like Tassadar is going to be... I mean, this makes sense for Tassadar to be the one to go up to deal with that. Ooh, nice orb from Derpface. Derpface actually disconnecting from the game, potentially? I'm not sure.
Looks like he's maybe still in. I mean, back, left. He might be having some connection issues, so we might see a pause come off pretty soon. It looks like we are going to see a 4-man rotation from Clock Dads.
Yep, not surprised. Without Li Ming, they're a little bit low on damage, but Johanna's, Night Take Spawn is fine.
Man, the Blizzard from Jaina, though, just doing work against Sap.
I actually want to mention, I made an error. She took Regeneration Master and not Night Take Spawn.
Oh,
that's kind of a
you don't
weird-
see that too often.
You do not. Additionally, it looks like potentially a Frostbolt build from Jaina as we see Winter's Reach at level 1. Oh wow, in the bottom, Blizzard hitting 3 targets. Goodbye, Tyrande. Scrog just trying to zone for his team, and it looks like they're going to have to give up this shrine, and Falstad's actually... Oh, nope. Tassadar takes the top shrine.
Oh, beautiful bolt by Muradin to stun Greymane, allowing Jaina to finish him off. Jaina just has been doing so much damage. Those little choke points, along with Judgment from Uther and the Storm Bolt from Muradin, are just wrecking them right now.
Yeah, and now, like, Purple Turkeys are far behind early. Like, they are almost a full level behind. It's 2 minutes into this game, and Clock Dad is looking to take this Dragon Knight potentially. It looks like Tassadar is going to prevent that on the top, though.
Yeah, and actually Tassadar is probably the best person to lane against the Zagara right now because he's going to be able to clean that Zagara creep effectively, but Zagara is, as we're seeing right now, out-damaging the crap out of him.
Yeah, and it looks like Tyrande, I think that was bottom lane. That's
Yep,
pretty
looks
rough.
like it.
So again, Clock Dad threatening to take this Dragon Knight. Tassadar had to go back to base, and Li Ming falls also.
Yeah, Dirtface getting a hammer to the face from Falstad as he was trying to run away.
Yeah, and Scrog is in the middle lane, just checking.
He's trying to
this
hold
out.
him off.
Yeah, getting some autos in on Muradin. Greymane making a play. He's against Uther. This should be a matchup he can win. And it looks like they're going to cap that back. So nice play from him, realizing that Uther was missing.
Yeah, and this is what they needed. They're a full level behind, just 3 minutes in. Tyrande again getting caught in that blizzard. Clock Dads is actually timing those stuns on those blizzards so well so far this game.
And that is death number 3 for Tyrande at the 3-minute 30-second mark. So kind of getting victimized a little bit. And Scrog going to follow suit in the middle lane as Jaina. I have to hand it to Magix. Really
Magix
doing
is
work.
just rocking it right now.
And he's going full Frostbolt build too. So a Jaina player after my own heart.
Yeah.
Truly. We'll see how that develops as the game goes on. But Falstad flying into the top. It's Zagar versus Li Ming and Tassadar here with the Falstad, and they drive them off. I don't know if they're going to get the kill. Yes, Amethyst Sky is going to fall. Dirtface really far out. The Zagar auto's not enough.
Oh, wow. Dirtface getting down to 96, and then Greymane falling in the middle lane as well. Man, that's one of the things about Dragonshire's fights just happen so just kind of all over the place. Sometimes it's really hard to catch everything.
And again, Clock Dad has still not lost a member of their team. Dirtface is going to fall in the top. Scrog just completely alone. Just isolated. He dies.
Beautiful body blocks by Snag and Magix there to keep him in, even though the Unstoppable was helping to get him out. Fist down at the bottom. Uther's just kind of pushing him out. Says, no, this is my shrine, guys. And Falstad's going to try and get the cap. It looks like he will be able to get it. Tassadar just has to retreat. There's not much he can do without dying. And they still don't have level 7 talents yet, Josh.
Wow, I mean, it's 10 kills to 0. Clock Dad pushing level 9 right now, and like you said, still only have 7 for Purple Turkeys, so they really need to stop the bleeding right now. They've given up a lot of kills. Magic's on Jaina just being pursued, but to no avail. I really like the weird flanks from Magix. It's worked out a lot, and I think Purple Turkeys is feeling it. Like, they understand that this Jaina is going to kill them if they don't know where she is.
Yeah, and Magix has proved that he doesn't need no Blizzard build.
Nah.
He is just wrecking with this Frostbolt build and getting the picks and using the small Blizzard he has, even without the extra radius from Snowstorm, just perfectly.
So this Dragon Knight actually didn't get a ton of mileage, but in the end it really didn't matter because Clock Dad is so far ahead.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a really early Dragon Knight too.
Oh, and a huge Ring of Frost. Like, Tyrande walked right into it, and Scrog probably going to fall here as a result. Nice gust from Qian on Falstad's. Probably going to seal this kill for his team, but the question is anyone else going to fall? Is Dirtface going to overextend perhaps? But no, it looks like that's going to be the end of that one.
That was definitely the most beast Stormbolt ever. It stunned and then destroyed the gate.
It destroyed a wall. Like, he's tearing down walls. You know, he's breaking down barriers. So. And
yeah, look at it. We're still full Frostbolt build with the Ring of Frost. This is scary because we've seen Magic so far. Man, this guy has been efficient as all get out with this Jaina.
Yeah, and really no surprises on the heroics. That's pretty much what you expect. In the top, Saproling on Greymane getting isolated again. Tassadar shield not enough to save his life. We still don't have level 10 for Purple Turkeys, and we're almost 7 minutes into this game here, 13-0 in terms of kills for Clock Dad. Yeah,
Purple Turkeys, their big issue right now is they're just really getting caught out. Like, and not only just getting caught out, oh, Qiana almost with the gust, didn't quite hop back far enough. But yeah, they're just getting caught out. The positioning is just really hurting them right now. Not to mention that the coordination from Clock Dads has been just on point.
Yeah, and they're gonna take this camp, and there's really nothing Purple Turkeys can do about it. They're down 1 talent here. If they're not careful, they're gonna go down 2 if they give up some kills here. So it's hard to be in this position, but you need to make sure you don't overextend. And Dirtface almost does exactly that, gets the teleport, but Saproling maybe not so lucky as Falstad's trying to kill him, but so close, TBK. I don't know. He does get away.
Gosh. Dirtface as well, and this is a point where they could actually assault this. They go in, they kill Greymane. Li Ming does get the shield from Tassadar, but the Divine Shield goes down on Falstad, stopping them. So much damage going out on Fist. He falls as well. Ring of Frost goes down, and this is almost a full team wipe, Josh.
That was savage. Like, they fight under that fort. They don't care. Shrines are up. They don't care. They just kill everybody under that fort. And the Avatar actually was a big part of what allowed Snag to hang under that fort. And he soaked up a lot of damage for his team, who was able to just run around and kill everybody. Yeah. So I kind of thought for a moment maybe like the playmaker would have been better to like punch someone out of the fort area and into the team, but no, the Avatar is the right choice.
Man, and Snag just right there, ready for that Dragon Knight. And this is bad. So at least Purple Turkeys, they have their ults now, but they are still they're 3 levels down. They're a talent tier down, and this Dragon Knight's probably going to do some work.
Yep, and we do finally have level 10 for Purple Turkeys. We have Shadowstalk, Disintegrate, go for the Throat, Bless Shield, sadly Bless Shield, and Force Wall. So the Disintegrate actually was nerfed in yesterday's patch, and I'm interested to see how that affects this fight, but actually Snag, Dragon Knight taking a lot of damage. They are going to get this for huge Maw.
Oh, huge Maw. Everybody's ready. So much damage. A beautiful Gus knocking everybody back. Scrog is getting body blocked to all get out. And that was a 4-man wipe. Dirtface just barely escaping with his life.
Okay, so the Maw sealed that fight, but I want to point out that Ring of Frost was available, and Magix was like, we don't need it.
Well, and that's the thing. He knew most of those 3 people that went into the Maw were under half health.
Yeah.
So he knew that they could just burst them down as soon as they came out. And not only that, Chiana was just ready. He jumped over, gusted back, and so even what they didn't finish off after the Maw came out, they were slowed and halfway back. There was no way they were getting out of that.
All right, so let's take a look on the map right now. We have Clockdad pushing 16. We don't have 13 for Purple Turkey, so they're going to be down 2 talent tiers probably. Jaina just picked up Icy Veins. That's a huge damage increase for her.
Yeah.
Crippling Hammer selected by Falstad, so they really want to slow people down. Obviously, this is a very standard Zagara build overall, so nothing really of interest there. And we now have Shrink Ray also from Uther, so even harder to get away from fights for Purple Turkeys now. So they really need to be careful about what they choose to do in terms of picking fights.
Yeah, and Johanna has unfortunately picked the fight right now. 4 members are in the bottom, but this is a 5-level deficit right now. Clockdads is really not scared to fight 4v5.
No, and they really shouldn't be scared, because at this point they are blowing up Saproling under his own fort, and they get that. Whoa, so much damage goes out though. A Dirtface getting a ton of mileage out of Orb, but it doesn't matter. This goes down, Amethyst Sky has to run away. Johanna's just trying to peel, and wow, Magix.
Oh, the fort ends up finishing Magix off. That was a really big deal for them. So they lost 3 members, yes. They gained a kill, but getting a kill when you're this far down is massive, massive amounts of XP just due to the underdog bonus.
I mean, that's a good point. There are 25 kills in this game, and Purple Turkeys has 1 of them. But like you said, you get an underdog bonus for being behind, and now they're down only 1 talent here. It's still not a situation you want to be in, but it's better than being down 2.
The funny thing is, Raichu was channeling this Dragon Knight, and then he steps back so that Chiana on Falstad could get it instead, because they wanted the heals out and they knew they had the time.
Yeah.
It was a great play. It wasn't the desperation, oh crap, we've got it, just grab it. It's the, okay, let's figure out who would be best in this.
Yeah, and they actually punch Johanna back. Scrog taking a lot of damage, but he's gonna unstoppable away. But no, but the body blocks from Muradin, and you're on the bridge of death, my friend. Wow.
Oh. That was beautiful body blocks. I've been so impressed with Clockdad. They've been using body blocks to a massive, massive advantage this entire game. And that secured them so many kills. And they're pulling around. They don't want to fight on that bridge of death. And that's a really good call on their part, especially against a Li Ming.
Yeah, and I mean, they should be able to get this keep. If they use the rest of the duration of this Dragon Knight properly, they should be able to get this keep at the very least. And I mean, this is such a commanding lead. It's really on Clockdad to throw it away now, it seems.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really defend this as Purple Turkeys.
This is by far Clockdad's game to lose.
Yeah, and Magix taking a bit of damage. I actually like that strategy from Purple Turkeys. Try and poke Magix a bit, get him to be less aggressive, because he's a big part of the damage on that team for sure.
Now this is a little scary. They're chasing a bit, and they might be chasing too far. They're 4 levels and a talent tier down.
Here comes the fly.
Falstad comes out, the Gus comes down. Beautiful Divine Shield on Magix to keep him up. The Ring of Frost goes out, and this is gonna be basically a team wipe here.
Wow. Like, the trust that Magic's had in Raichu to hang in the middle of that fight and get the Divine Shield. I mean, that just shows the kind of coordination Clock Dad is working with.
Yep. And they've called the core. The res timers are still pretty low on the side of Purple Turkeys, and Clock Dad's is pretty low. If there were any time they could throw this game, this would be it.
Saproling finishes off Falstad, but the core is very low. Saproling is forced to get out of here. He really can't die, but it looks like this is going to be close, TBK.
Yeah,
but
this is going to be really close.
I think they've got it. Snag's going to flip over, and yeah, that's going to be it. Magic's is going to finish that off.
And I mean, that was close. That was still a little bit of a risky call, honestly, because if they had missed that and they'd gotten the team wipe, that really would have put Purple Turkeys back up in a halfway decent state.
I mean, you could see Purple Turkeys, if they were managed to defend the core, maybe they get a fort and a keep wall, but more than that, they would have leveled out a little bit in terms of XP, and I think that's probably the most important part, because they wouldn't be able to
They would have gotten on the same talent tier, at least.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to get a keep or anything if they defended that core, so they are still really far behind, because they weren't in a position to, even it out, but, I mean, that would have been at least a step in the right direction. But in the end, Clock Dad, with, honestly, what I believe to be superior coordination and communication.
Oh man, I was so impressed with the coordination and communication. Magic's having so much faith in his Uther 2 or 3 times with beautiful divine shields to save him while he's in the middle of everyone throwing Ring of Frosts and Blizzards down. And not only that, the amazing coordination of stuns right where the blizzards are going to go, so both those blizzard waves hits 2, sometimes 3 people. That's a huge deal. And the Falstad Gus too. We had some beautiful Gus.
Honestly, every member of Clock Dad had flashy plays. The damage dealers especially had some really huge heroics. Like you say, the Falstad Gust, there was some big Ring of Frost, and even the Maws, there were a couple good Maws, and a Maw doesn't have to hit the whole team to be good. That's the other thing that some people, sometimes you think, oh, I only hit 1 or 2 people with my Maw, so I guess that kind of sucks. But if you secure a kill with a Maw, you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, that made them. If you can kill someone with the Maw, and none of you die, that's worth it.
Yeah,
it's totally worth it.
And really, I think the heroic use was on point across the board. I mean, I think at no point was that more clear for me than when Muradin, Snag playing Muradin, just dove under the fort on top lane with Avatar on.
That was insane, and that was the point in the match where you just realized it's just we know that we can do this. You've got 2 of you that are low. You're hiding under a fort and a tower with ammo still, and we're going to dive you, and we're going to kill 3 of you. Yeah.
See, this is kind of why sometimes I do not like the Tyrande Tassadar combination, is because Tyrande feels like a very early game hero. You get crazy ability to come in off lane, stun someone, vulnerability, you get vision, you get a heal obviously, but she feels like this early game hero. And sometimes I feel like having Tassadar on the team sort of dilutes that. Because Tassadar, while he's a safe hero and he's a good laner, he's not a good early game hero.
No.
I mean, he's safe, which is fine, but in the early game, he's not a threat to anyone.
No, he has okay laning.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
Okay,
he has
clear,
good laning. Yeah,
but apart from that, he doesn't have a lot of team fight presence other than just throwing shields on people.
Yeah, and throwing shields on people usually doesn't help secure a kill, right? It might protect somebody, but it usually won't enable something. So at the end of the day, that sometimes I see that with Tyrande Tassadar. It kind of dilutes the purpose of the overall composition, because even though you get that extra healing, you don't get an early game advantage, and that's sort of what we saw where Purple Turkeys couldn't really make kills happen early game. They gave up a lot of kills, especially on
and I think that was the biggest problem, is that Purple Turkey's positioning was just not quite there, and Clock Dad just completely took advantage of that. And that just got the snowball rolling, and then they just kept it going all game because Purple Turkey's comp was definitely a much more late game comp.
Yeah, and
And they just couldn't get there. They couldn't ever come back from that initial early game disadvantage.
but that's the scary part, right? Like you look at that team and it has Tyrande and Greymane on it, and you're like, it's a late game comp, and it doesn't feel like it needs to be. But like
Sure.
Tassadar, I think a lot of what happened, honestly, TBK, is that I think Clock Dad, the rotations between mid and bottom were crisper. They caught
Oh,
people
yeah.
constantly as they were rotating. And I don't know if Purple Turkeys was really ready for that. Like at the end of the day, it seemed like they constantly people were getting caught in lane, and that 4-1 rotation, it's meta for a reason, right? Like it's
Yeah.
dangerous to
Yeah.
have 4 people come out of a bush and try and kill you when you're standing in the middle of the lane, and they made it look just as dangerous as it is at a competitive level.
Yeah, it's something that it's just another one of those things. Just like you need to be constantly watching your mini map, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things that you learn as you get better at the game. Is you need to be watching that mini map for those type of rotations, and if you do, then you can put yourself in a good position to completely negate the 4-man force that's coming down and
Yeah.
pushing onto you, while your other lane that they just left takes advantage of those people leaving once they see them enter the bottom lane or the top lane or whatever it is.
And I think the other thing I just want to quickly say is that if you're Purple Turkeys, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about this game because this is why we have placement games
Sure.
in Chair League, right? Like the idea is to get you matched against teams that are as close to your skill level as possible so that you can improve. And in a placement game, like it's the game is for the purpose of placing you. So
Yeah.
there's a chance that the other team is just better coordinated than you right now. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean you won't ever get to that level. And I honestly think, I saw some good plays from some of the members of, or like the beginnings of some pretty good plays from Purple Turkeys. But like this is why the placement system exists.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and wherever
it's the first week, second day of the second season, so lots of time to improve, lots of time to play together, and really just good job to Clock Dad.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, they just played it really well.
it's hard to
Really well
find
done.
fault, really.
Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna throw the MVP to Magix for that game.
I'm
Just-
highly
there's just
biased.
Some sick Jaina plays.
I'm highly biased. Anybody who takes Frostbolt build on Jaina and takes Icy Veins.
That's right.
I mean, I guess it was more of a hot shot move in the old days where you were giving up Ice Block at 13. You're like, I don't need Ice Block.
Yeah, you're not giving up
Icy
ice
Veins.
block anymore.
Yeah, but still, it's still like the build itself relies on you're improving the hardest ability to hit.
Sure.
So for
That
me,
takes a lot more coordination on your part to pull
Exactly.
off an ice bolt or frostbolt build.
exactly.
All right, guys. Well.